Coming up on today's Lifestyles. In Thailand, people have celebrated an annual traditional festival along canals and rivers throughout the country. In Egypt's male-dominated society, being a taxi driver is a profession for men only, but a 60-year-old woman broke into the men's world. More than 80 homeless dogs from the United States are looking for homes in Vancouver. Hello, I'm Chloe in Beijing. You're watching Lifestyles on CNC World. Greek Migration Minister Yanis Mazoulas has outlined the government's plan to improve the living conditions of thousands of refugees and migrants stranded in Greece ahead of winter. He has also pledged to Europe and Turkey for more efforts to keep alive the 2016 deal aimed to curb flows into Europe and share the burden.
The Greek official said Greece intends to create, among other measures, more reception centers on the Aegean Sea islands and the mainland to decongest the existing camps, as well as house people on ships if deemed necessary. Local authorities objected to the creation of more hotspots on the islands last year, calling instead for the transfer of more people to the mainland. However, under the 2016 Europe-Turkey agreement, refugees and migrants cannot travel to the mainland until their asylum bids are examined. In September this year, on average, 214 people per day reached Greece, up from 56 on average per day in March. The Greek official called on other European countries to accept more people in need, such as unaccompanied minors. There are 2,900 unaccompanied minors among the more than 60,000 refugees and migrants stranded in Greece after the closure of borders along the Balkan route to Central Europe in the winter of 2016. Shortly before the press conference, 12 refugees launched a hunger strike opposite the Greek Parliament building on Syntagma Square, protesting delays in family reunifications. Heyyan from Syria said they represent about 4,000 refugees awaiting transfer to Germany, most of which are families who are waiting already for more than 18 months in Greece. His children are in Germany for 2 years.
In Thailand, people are celebrating an annual traditional festival along canals and rivers throughout the country from Friday's early evening until midnight.
The festival is called Loi Krathong, meaning floating a basket. People brought krathong or baskets made of greenish banana leaves and landed with fresh flowers and a candle to the bank of a canal or river. They lit the candle, made a wish, and gently dropped it on the water and let it flow down the canal or river.
The annual 3-day water festival held in Phnom Penh, capital of Cambodia, has come to an end. Let's take a look.
Cambodian King Norodom Sihamoni, accompanied by Prime Minister Hun Sen, attended the closing ceremony of the festival on Saturday. During the ceremony, the king presented awards to the winning teams in the boat races over the Tonle Sap River. Some 270 dragon boats with over 17,000 rowers joined this year's boat races. The water festival is Cambodia's largest annual festival. During the 3-day holiday, over 1 million people from across the country took part in the festival. At the festival, aside from watching the regatta during the daytime, visitors enjoyed viewing the procession of well-lighted and decorated floats and fireworks over the Tonle Sap River at night. There were also trade fairs and concerts. According to history, the water festival traced its roots back to the 12th century, when anchoring King Javaman VII's navy defeated that of his Kham rivals. The festival is also a traditional event that marks the end of the rainy season.
The 28th Carthage Film Festival kicked off in Tunis on Saturday. Take a look.
A total of 180 films will be screened among different competition categories. In the official competition, 51 films from 27 countries will be involved, including 14 feature-length fictions, 15 short fictions, and 8 short documentaries. The opening ceremony was highlighted by the screening of the film Writing on the Snow by Palestinian director Rashid Mashrawi. The proposed films will focus on many themes such as integration and social injustice, migration, social phenomena, but above all, they will deliver messages of peace, tolerance, and love. The festival remains one of the oldest cultural events in Africa and the Arab world. This year's event will last until November the 11th.
Prices have soared at the 22nd International Book Fair of Algiers amid the financial crisis the country is suffering. Lifestyles has more.
Almost 1 million visitors has visited the book fair, which is considered one of the most important cultural events in Africa and the Arab world. But due to high prices of books, many visitors cannot afford their preferable books.
يعتبر فيه انخفاض نوعا ما.
Actually, there was a slight fall in the sales compared with previous fairs due to book prices hike. The main cause of the price hike is the price hike of all materials used in the process of publishing books, in addition to the devaluation of the dinar this year. The price of books soared, and this is a fact, but the Association of Algerian Publishers have decided to offer a discount from 45 to 50%.
As many as 638 foreign publishers are exhibiting their books at the fair, including those from South Africa, China, Russia, and India. Algeria is hit by a financial crisis due to the decline of crude oil prices in global markets and the erosion of local exchange reserves.
In Lebanon, the ancient Bakli National Library building has been restored and furnished to assume the role of a public library. Let's take a look.
The library occupies about 1,500 square meters and has more than 140,000 books. It's the largest public library in Lebanon.
The importance of the library is being the largest public library in Lebanon, and its visitors come from all the regions of the country. We are here in the children's section, and its manager receives the school principals and students for various projects. The library receives people from 3 years old to senior citizens from various regions and is frequented especially by researchers, academics, and higher education students to whom we facilitate external use of our books.
It was equipped with various volumes, reference books, periodicals, and necessary equipment, and run by well-trained and experienced staff. The library aims at meeting the needs of scholars, stimulating and developing the cultural movement, and contributing to social awareness.
This building is a historic one and dates back to the Ottoman Empire era and was inaugurated in the year 1897. When it was taken by the Lebanese state, it was used for different purposes. This floor was a municipal hall, and the ground floor harbored a preliminary court, and the underground floor was used as jail.
The library was built upon the initiative of head of the Lebanese Democratic Gathering MP Walid Jumblat in 1987.
People of the region refused the idea of jail and called on the head of the Democratic Gathering MP Walid Jumblat to establish a public library instead. He restored the building in 1986, keeping its European and Islamic aspect, and established the library in 1987 after he bought personally many books from all around the country.
The library has been established as a pioneer in Lebanon and the region.
تسجيل رقم قياسي أول في العالم في
This is a certificate of Guinness World Records registered in 2011. In the presence of Guinness officials, we managed to exchange 1,450 books in 8 hours, while the earlier records was 250 books. People were flocking to the library in hundreds of all across Lebanon. It was a very important event registered in 2011. This year, the library won the first prize for its digital content on its website nationally, and we have been nominated for the World Contest in this matter.
In Egypt's male-dominated society, being a taxi driver is a profession for men only. But a 60-year-old woman broke into the men's world, trying to reconcile the tension between the working lives and the identity as a woman. Lifestyles has the story.
In the heart of Egypt's bustling capital Cairo, only very few female taxi drivers brave the annoying traffic. The 60-year-old Walid is one of them. Driven by force of circumstance and the need to make a living, she went down a road that very few other women in the Arab world would step on. Walid has been driving for more than 30 years and first bought a taxi when her father encouraged her as he had no sons.
I didn't complete my education. I can just read and write, nothing more. But I wanted to work to get money for my family and me. Since I'm not educated, what else I can do except driving? Because most of my families are drivers, and I love driving. I learned from them driving theoretically and taught myself practically. I bought a car in 1980 and started to work since then.
What is said, the passengers show respect for her as a taxi driver, which is a professional for men. However, she still faces difficulties like rising fuel prices in Egypt. The Egyptian government approved an increase in fuel prices last year, and this has turned her life upside down, forcing her to work longer hours to make up for the extra costs.
More than 80 small dogs have arrived in Vancouver as part of an annual event that brings shelter dogs from the United States into Canada to be adopted by loving families. Lifestyles takes you to witness the emotional moment.
The dogs were brought by plane and trucks to Vancouver from shelters in the U.S. that have very high kill rates due to the overwhelming number of dogs in need of shelter. These dogs are being saved from the so-called kill shelters.
A kill shelter is a shelter that experiences more surrenders than they have spaces. And some shelters will get 200 animals surrendered to them a day. And because they have nowhere to put them, they have to euthanize them.
Susan Patterson, Thank Dog I'm Out founder, says Vancouver has become very efficient at damaging the dog populations. So there is more demand to adopt small dogs here than there are dogs in need of homes. It's a different story south of the border, and especially so in California, where this summer's terrible wildfire season caused a spike of shelter dogs. Patterson formed his organization and started bringing the dogs to Vancouver 5 years ago. Since then, nearly 1,000 dogs have been adopted through the nonprofit organization. She says each family must ensure that they can provide a safe and loving home for the dogs, and many of which have suffered trauma in their lives.
Countless migratory birds are making their way south. Recently, about 5,000 water birds have been seen in the Shanxi Shang Island, Fangchenggang City in southwest China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. Let's take a look.
Fangchenggang City in Guangxi is an important stop and energy depot for the migratory birds en route to East Asia and Australia. Plovers, sandpipers, gulls, and other 20 species of birds have been spotted, including endangered spoon-billed sandpipers and great knots this winter.
Spoon-billed sandpiper is a critically endangered species. There are no more than 200 pairs of them in the world. They choose our city to inhabit thanks to the improvement of ecological environment here.
In recent years, Fangchenggang City has stepped up efforts to improve the ecological environment, such as marine ecological restoration, fighting against pollution, promotion of environmental awareness.
Protecting birds not only depends on authorities but also depends on the public. We often invite volunteers to observe the birds closely, and we tell them how to distinguish different birds.
With the environment being better and better, many migratory birds even spend the whole winter in Fangchenggang every year.
Indonesian officials said on Thursday that 2 Chinese giant pandas were ready for public appearance in the near future. The pandas completed their 31-day quarantine period and are now living in the country's safari park.
The director at Taman Safari Indonesia said the pandas' health examinations showed excellent results. The male and female pandas, called Cai Tao and Hu Chun, have already adapted to the environment and are handlers at the safari park's panda facility. Park officials said inspections show the pandas were in excellent condition. The most important things to consider now were their food and habitat, which are similar to those in their original homes. The park's management is considering the best date for the giant pandas to make their public debut. They would limit visitors to a maximum of 200 people a day. The park has built a 5,000 square meter panda area on its premises, called Indonesia Panda Castle. The park is located about 55 kilometers south of the capital, Jakarta. Its new panda area has been built on a hill with a height of 1,800 meters above sea level and an average temperature between 15 to 24 degrees Celsius. The area also offers visitors a China-themed restaurant and a store selling panda souvenirs.
Lesser pandas are the star animals in a zoo in southwest China's Yunnan province. Lifestyles takes you for a closer look.
The lesser panda, also known as the red panda or the red cat bear, is a mammal native to southwestern China, Nepal, and northern Myanmar. The animal is endangered because its wild population is estimated at fewer than 10,000 mature individuals. Dozens of them are living in Poor Sana River National Park, attracting flocks of visitors. The park has a forest coverage of nearly 95% and high concentration of negative oxygen ions. But the most fascinating part of the forest is the lesser panda. They usually beg food from passers-by. Therefore, the park staff have prepared apple slices and bamboo leaves for tourists to feed them.
And that's all for today's program. You can also find more at our website, en.cncnews.cn. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time.
This is a story about speed and realizing a vision of making today's transport even faster. Given China's vast size, rail travel is a key means of long-distance transportation in the country. China's railways are among the busiest in the world, driven by a demand to increase passenger and freight capacity. The railway network has been expanded again and again under the country's strategic railway plan. The vision of speed is also being realized.
China's railway network has not only expanded, it's also seen amazing technological advances.
The so-called green-clad trains, named after the colour of the train's car paint, were once the main means of rail transportation for passengers and freight. Many associate them with the slow and rickety rides, smelly carriages, and people crammed against each other. But in rural China, these green trains were the locals' only access to the areas beyond for many decades.
Though slow and clunky, these old green trains were known as low cost and safe and associated with a kind of warmth and camaraderie. And many people today are still nostalgic for these trains, and some are still in operation, offering a good alternative for those who like to travel slow and enjoy the scenery.
Although some might miss the old-fashioned green-clad trains, today China has most definitely entered the high-speed rail era. Thanks to government funding, high-speed rail has developed at an incredible rate. China Railway High Speed, or CRH, was first set up in 2007. It officially describes itself as a passenger-centered railway designed to carry multiple unit trains at speeds of 250 to 350 kilometers an hour.
China's new high-speed railway is called the Fuxing, which in Chinese literally means rejuvenation. And the new route connecting the capital of Beijing to the financial hub of Shanghai is one of the busiest in the country, carrying over 1 million passengers a year. And it travels at an astonishing 350 kilometers per hour, which means it can complete the 1,300-kilometer journey between the two cities in less than 4.5 hours, which makes it the fastest train in the world.
Today, China has more high-speed rail than the rest of the world put together, and now this vision is making its way overseas. The Mombasa to Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway, or SGR, is a flagship project of the China-Kenya cooperation. It's also the second railway in Kenya since the first built by the British and Indians 100 years ago.
Everyone was talking about how the government is going to build a new railway that is going to be better and faster than the old railway. that it's going to bring a lot of change and a lot of development to our country and the neighboring countries.
So far, the 480-kilometre line has transported over 150,000 passengers since it began operating. Perhaps the most impressive part is a specially designed tunnel, constructed for animal and environmental protection. The Mombasa-Nairobi SGR will pass through the Tsavo East National Park, the largest wildlife reserve in Kenya.
蒙内铁路建设设计的过程中我们针对这个对环境的影响，采取了一系列的有针对性的措施。借鉴了就是荷兰 A50公路、德国 B38公路，包括中国的青藏铁路的这个设计经验。
China is also vigorously promoting railway freight worldwide. As China's Belt and Road Initiative gets underway, China Railway Express has steamed ahead. The China Railway Express is a freight service linking Chinese cities to Europe via Central Asia. This express has signalled a new era for bilateral trade between cities.
内陆城市像这个重庆这样的城市，通过鱼腥物班列进行跨境电商的运输的话，这个效率成本会有很大的改善。
If you look at the One Belt, One Road today, which is reshaping the supply chain between the UK and China, this train is time sensitive, which means it's reliable, it's cheaper than air, which is cost effective.
这个班列的开通呢，大大的缩短了中国和匈牙利贸易之间的时间和距离，对两国的货物流通具有非常重要的指标性意义。
China is now fervently promoting cooperation in high-speed railway projects with Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Serbia, Brazil, and Peru. It is expected that China's rails will soon move into more regions and countries. If they do, the streamlined white bullet trains won't just be a familiar sight to Chinese travellers. They could soon be a familiar sight all over the world.
云天无际，承载梦想。中国南方航空是中国运输飞机最多、航线网络最发达、年客运量最大的航空公司。亚洲第一，全球第三，是南航缔造的业界奇迹。 蓝天壮志情，云海谱华章。
同心地产，芝加哥最大的华人中介团队，无论是家居或是商业地产，给你带来全方位的最佳服务。
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group.
投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
Chinese channel, 小小中文 lesson 18. In this lesson, we will be teaching you these 6 Chinese characters. From the last lesson, we learned the character 小. If we add up 2 sides of a triangle, this character is go, go, go means hook. Go hao, go hao, go hao. Go ha means hook. These 2 characters contain go. If we remove these 2 strokes and put a dot in the upward stroke, this character is yun. Yun, yun means even. Jun yun, jun yun, jun yun. Jun yun means even. or well distributed. Remove these two strokes and add 2 down strokes to the left. This makes ooh, 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 means do not. 勿吸烟，勿吸烟，勿吸烟，勿吸烟 means no smoking. Next, we'll learn a new root character. What's this? 门 门 means door. 开门 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 means to open the door. What happens if we put a 口 in the middle of 门? 问 means to ask. 问路 means to ask for directions. Next, we'll learn a new root character. What's this? 万 means 10,000. 一万 means 10,000. Okay, it's time to write. When you're writing, remember to follow the stroke sequence. Go. 云 雾 王 望 万 Bye-bye, the lesson is done.